Alright, I'm going to show my onboard air that I just finally finished getting all plumbed up and wired up and ready to go. Curious how onboard air using a stock AC compressor for a Jeep works. I'll start with the plumbing, show you how I set it up. You can see that there's a little air filter that goes into the compressor. It then comes out the discharge, does a fancy little loop just so I can make that corner into a inline air filter, which then goes into the tank and has a 145 psi pop-off valve for safety. The tank is mounted where the stock air filter box used to be. My Jeep, when I bought it, came with that little fancy red filter setup, which it works. I don't know if it's best, but it allowed for a lot of room on this fender. The tank has got a gauge on one of the top ports. It then has another port that has the pressure cutoff switch. It kicks on at 90 psi and doesn't kick off until 120 psi. And this tube is running back into the cab to an in-cab gauge that I've got in there. You can see down below, that's my little leader hose that comes out. I did have it out through here so I could hook it up, but I used cheap airline, and sitting in that position for quite a while with rain and sun, it was starting to dry rot, so I kind of just looped it around for the moment to get me right here. And that is pretty much all it took for the plumbing. Now for the electrical side, I pulled 12 volts from this pin right here. Same as coming off the battery, but it's a little bit nicer. Runs down, goes into a fuse, runs off to power the AC compressor. The switch from the cab comes down to here, goes into the relay. The way it works is the power to the compressor is sent off that same power line coming from this fuse. The negative actually runs through this pressure switch on the ground side. That switch actually takes away and gives it ground, which clutch to kick in and out. And the other side of that switch, just the pressure switch. The actual switch itself is on the other side of this relay. So when I throw the switch, it comes through the relay pulls the contact over, throws power going over to the compressor, comes out of the compressor, goes to this switch. If it finds ground, it engages. If there's no ground because it has enough pressure, then it kicks off. And that's about there's a lot more to it. It took me a long time to get to that point, but that's how I got it wired up. I tried to get it looking as clean as possible. I had hoped to have that relay mounted somewhere a little bit better, but it does the job. Come around here to the excuse me, to the cab. I mounted that gauge pod that I bought, which in my opinion is a piece of junk. It comes with double-sided tape. I ended up countersinking some screw holes. I had to cut a hole in the top of my bezel, so that's going to have to stay there forever. But I've got my windshield light switch and my air compressor switch both up there. So I will fire this up and we will see see how that gauge goes. Just for safety, got emergency brake on. Made good use of a spare tire carrier off of the back as a wheel chock, and with that fancy 20 amp fuse in the fuse box behind the glove box here, I am able to start the Jeep without the clutch. As you'll see right now, I'm running 0 psi. Kick the switch on. There she goes. It's going to continue to build pressure until it hits 120. And kicks off. See, I'm running 120 on there. Compressor collector's kicked out. I'm going to pull the pressure relief valve and show you how it'll kick itself back on. She kicks off. Got my hose. I'll plug it into a little got it hooked up. Got my airline. If I can find my page. Oh well. You can see I'm barely 20 psi. Yep. And there I hit 30. And I think the whole time I was doing that, the tank ran underneath about 90 psi because it kicked up faster than what I could put it in a tire. I'm going to put just a blowgun, and we'll see how well it keeps up with just running straight air out of it. And that's how long it takes to air it back up. So you can see you can run about 15 psi air pushing out, but when it comes to filling up a tire, it definitely keeps up with how fast the tire gauge can put it in there. Everything is compact, out of the way, wired up, and it's underneath the hood, and it even has a fancy red paint job to match. So that is my that's my onboard air system that I built using parts that I either found or bought or begged, borrowed, and stole, and it took me quite a while because I only did it, you know, every time I got a chance on a Saturday to get a little farther, and didn't want to burn the thing up with the wiring and didn't want to mess the engine up with the compressor, but it all came along nicely. So that is a onboard air using a Chrysler system for airing up tires, and if I wanted to, I could tap into one of them lines and put a manifold and run to air lockers if necessary. So that is it. Hope you enjoy.